Howdy, howdy, howdy. This is HippyJo and or Joseph, and we're hanging out at Tie-Dye Farms. Look, the sun just came out. How beautiful. Alright, I was going to talk briefly about what we're doing with the soil here. You know, we're not claiming to be experts. Actually, we're not claiming to know anything. We've just been trying to do things a little bit differently so we're not upsetting the soil structure and keeping the levels of the soil where they're supposed to be, the top on the top and the bottom on the bottom. I got some of this inspired from a lecture I saw by James Cassidy. He's a soil doctor at OSU. If you ever get a chance to check out a lecture of his, I highly recommend it. What I've done in the past was we always double dug, which was we dug out one layer, threw it aside, and then dug the next layer up, and that always mixed the levels of the soil. The idea of that was in the long run we were going to end up with a big layer of topsoil. We got that out of this great book called How to Grow More Vegetables by John Jarvis. This has been like our Bible for years about how to do gardening. And the one thing in this book that we really liked was that we were going to get to the point where we'd be able to use this broad fork. Now, I already did a demonstration with this a couple weeks ago, but here's our big broad fork. And this year we decided to skip the whole double dig thing because we have so much topsoil here already. It's already 1.5 feet deep, so why should we even go through that step? So with our broad fork, we've been doing most our turning. We did have Luke from Beanie Farms come out and do one pass on this with his walk-behind tractor, his ABS tractor, and as you see, it's starting to grow back. But right now, the state of the soil is just about this, where I do one round of this. The soil's kind of tough, but as you can see, it's a little bit of work the first time through. And have some fun with it because it just don't move. But eventually we get it to pop. And as you see, the soil structure stays the way it is. Now what we did over here, this has gone through twice with the big daddy and twice with the little one over here, which we'll look at in a minute. But the soil gets to a point where this is how we're going through it. And still you'll see all the clods of grass up on top. The soil has not moved from top to bottom. It hasn't been flipped. And we keep going through and doing that. And this one I usually just go all the way down, go to the next one, all the way down, and you can see with each stroke the soil structure is staying basically the same. Of course there's a little bit of mixing. But then we get over here, I got this little one also, I really like it. And what we're doing with this is after I go through with that, then I get to go through with this one. And this just keeps breaking up those clods a little bit more. It's aerating the soil so the water and air will all be able to percolate down and we'll have a nice spongy effect in the soil and not like a cement blacktop that you'll see puddles on the field. And after going through this over and over again, the soil starts to get pretty fine. And you can still see the roots and everything in here because this is still the topsoil. And you'll see, like when I'm doing this, even though I'm going all the way down, I bring it back up and push that topsoil back up just so that I'm making sure it doesn't get all mixed together. So I want to go down here for a minute and show you where these beds end up. You can just look over here real quickly, and these are in different stages. These have been marked off and they're just about ready to plant. We have one more step to go through, and we're going to go down here and we're going to look at that step. So come on down here. Alright, so as you saw up there, we got the soil to a certain place, we marked it off, and then you can look at these beds here and look how nice and raised they are, and they have a nice shape to them. The water is going to hit it and percolate down really nicely. It's not flat, so it's a little more like what nature intended. What we do then is with the big clods, we've been going through with this ancient cement hoe, really heavy duty hoe. Most hoes can't stand up to this, but we just go through, and like this, we've been breaking it down one more time. So we're ending up with the soil looking like this. This is about this size of clod, but it's as you see, there's a lot of soil in here, and it's all broken up. So this is ready to plant. What we did is we went and we got compost from Soil Smiths, and here's that. Isn't that nice? We put about an inch, half an inch, somewhere in there, of that on top, and then we rake it out and we plant it. We've been using these row covers so that now after this has been planted, all the seeds are protected so the birds don't get in, holds in the heat and holds in the moisture. So that's basically what we're doing here with the soil. There's a couple of reasons why we're doing this. I mean, first off, we're not using any gas. We're not mixing things up. We're trying to create a natural environment here. We're trying to help nature as much as possible. We see ourselves as farmers, as stewards of the land, trying to take care of everything and promote the mother instead of trying to control and tell her how we're going to grow things. So this is all an experiment. We'll see where it goes. But that's what we got this week. See you next time from Tie Dye Farms.